altered. There is magic in the mundane, bliss in the banal. The day is your dharma. I'm your host, Amaryllis, Ayurvedic health counselor, yogini, and Akashic Records reader, and this is your life, altered. Hi to everyone. Welcome back. This week we have the Akashic Sunday session message for the week of April 18th. Although, given what this message is, and I say it again later, this could last us for the rest of the year or the next couple of years. I am so excited about this message and how it came through. And it's a little bit of a piggyback off of last week's, or not last week's, but a couple of weeks ago. So the last podcast where I did the Akashic Sunday session, it's a bit of a piggyback off of that, still in a similar vein, but a little bit different as well. And it was just so powerful coming through. I talk more about it after the message. So stay tuned after the message to hear my thoughts on it and my reflections on it. Oh man, did it feel good. I've been doing a lot this past couple of weeks, and so much of it has been internal. After doing the cleanse, my spring cleanse, it just so much has been shifting through, moving through. Maybe it's just the season and things have to be shed in order to make way for this, next season. But there's been a lot moving through, transitioning, shifting, and not necessarily in a bad way. It's just that it's moving. And if I try to hang on to one thing for too long, it's like sand being held. It doesn't stay. It falls through the fingers and I can't keep a hold. So there's a loose grip for sure, and allowing things to come and go as they need, because I can feel that it's all necessary. So I'm leaning into that. One really amazing thing that just happened last week on Monday, or I should say, I'm recording this on Sunday. So this past week on Monday was that I finally got the opportunity to go out to Smith Rock and climb on actual rock and be up high and on a wall. And it was incredible. A very special thanks to She Moves Mountains that made that possible, because I know nothing about it. And so I had to do a group climb because I needed the support. I needed a teacher. I needed somebody there to guide me through it. And I talk more about it on my Instagram post and showed pictures and spoke about it and the backstory of it a little bit. But I think I'm going to end up doing a podcast episode about it. And it's not going to be specifically about the climbing so much, but about the process, because there were bigger things at play, bigger mindsets. I mean, first of all, one of them was that I went camping. So I arrived a day beforehand before I actually climbed. And I went hiking around Smith Rock, just thinking, oh, this is amazing. It's so stunning here. And then at the end of the day, instead of driving back to the campground, I almost thought, well, I think I'm good here. I think I'm good. No, I mean, I don't really need to go climbing tomorrow. It's going to be so cold in the morning. And do I really need to camp in the car in a 22-degree night? I could probably just go home. And I almost left. I almost left before I recognized, duh, this is just fear. It sounds so legit, or it just sounds so casual and nonchalant, as if I don't really want to climb. I mean, I could just easily leave and it would be fine. It was satisfying enough just to be here and to experience Smith Rock. And I almost listened. And I called it out for what it was. It was fear. I was really afraid to do it the next day, for so many different reasons, because so much of it was going to be new. But oh, yeah. So I did it. And I'm really glad that I did, because obviously that voice that was speaking to me so nonchalantly, as if it didn't actually matter to me, I would have regretted it so much. So anyway, I think, yeah, and that can translate to anything, not just climbing. So there are many other stories like that that play into this and what's been building up to this that I think translate across any interest, any hobby, any activity and life story. So keep an eye out for that. That's probably going to be on the way. Also, before I get to the Akashic Sunday session message, I wanted to share what a listener had sent to me, which was so wonderful. I, I just love hearing from you all. So if you ever write a review or DM me, email me, please, by all means, get in touch with me and let me know how things are happening for you. And yeah, so let me share this. They were saying that they heard the spring cleanse episode and it inspired them to do a spring cleanse and that it was incredible. And that by the end of the week, for the first time ever, they channeled some sort of helping spirit in a way that they hadn't before that was coming through their writing. And that this intuition or the spirit literally told them that they could be helping them more if it wasn't so noisy. I think that is number one, so amazing and incredible because it it seems to be such a common experience that our life is too busy. It's too crowded and cluttered. And even if your household and your schedule isn't, then the mind is, or the input coming in is so much. It's too crowded and it's too noisy. And so, spirit, intuition, highest self, helping spirits, guardian angels, God, goddess, however you receive it, choose to believe in it, hear it, whatever, you can't receive it because you can't hear it. Spirit works in the ether, right? It's all in the etheric realm, and ether is space. So if we don't have space, we can't hear it, receive it, listen to it, notice it, observe it. There's no space for it to come through. And getting this message from this listener it made my heart sing. And I'm like, yes, wonderful. That's a really powerful moment when you hear, when you actually hear wisdom coming through. It's a game changer, and you realize, oh, that's been here all along. I just couldn't hear it, or it's always available to me. And I'm so glad that I now just get to tap into this, and I know that all I need to do is really create that space and listen. Oh, so good. Okay, so let's move on to the message. If this is your first time listening to an Akashic Sunday session, know that in a moment there's going to be a long pause and then you're going to hear me speaking. This is me in the Akashic Records for the audience of the Altered podcast. I open the Akashic Record for this audience and I ask what the message is for the weeks or week of, and I give the date. And then I record the message as I channel it and I just speak it as it comes through. So there's usually more space as I'm speaking. I might sound a little bit different. There's sometimes I stumble over words. It's different. And then I close when the message is finished, I close the Akashic records and then come out of it. And then I do a separate recording where I talk about it. And then you'll hear that afterwards. As I mentioned, this one is a little similar to the one previous, but really good stuff, really high vibe. And I recommend listening to it a couple of times, several times, revisiting it. So here you go. Look around and you can see evidence everywhere that something is being birthed, something is being reborn. You can see that things are falling apart. You can see that things are crumbling. This is not cause for despair. These are things that do not serve. These are things that do not serve the planet, the people, or the person. Feel your emotions. Feel your emotions as things fall and crumble, especially if they hit home to you and your life. But know that it is clearing the way for this newness. This transition takes time. Be patient. This transition takes time. Patience is needed. Just because it isn't seen within a few weeks or a few months does not mean that it is not changing. It is. It is. We say to you that it is. There is something new, many things new being birthed and born on the planet. And this is exciting. This is exciting. Perhaps you can feel the newness of this. As we said last time, there's a newness, a buzz. Tap into this, the newness. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? If you keep getting distracted outside in the crumbling and you keep forgetting to focus on what it is that you want, oh, but for yourself and for the planet and for the people and for the person. If you keep getting distracted by all that is outside and the crumbling, turn your attention again back to what is it that is wanted? What is it that can be felt that is new? There's new life growing. There's new consciousness shifting. There's new ideas forming. There's new connections being made. If you haven't been feeling this, pay attention. Pay attention to what it is that you have had your attention on. Pain, hurt, anger, fear, contraction, head down, eyes closed, plowing through it. If this is the case, you'll need to look up and you'll need to open your eyes because there's more around. There's more around. This is an exciting time, you see. It is a pivotal time. This is a very big time, and you are here and you are part of it. You're a part of it every day as you think and dream and wish and move and act and decide and choose. You're creating it. You're part of it, this newness. All of this is being born from you. You're here because you're part of this newness. It is truly an exciting time. And if you haven't yet, tap into that excitement, the possibility, the unfathomable potential for all. What a gift these times. What a gift these times. And this is all. That is the Akashic Sunday session message for this week, or oh my goodness, for any time. I can imagine in the next couple of months, few months, maybe even for the next couple of years. So here's the thing. First, I just want to say I love that I could hear the birds tweeting in the background. I forgot to close my patio door, so I loved hearing the tweeting. And in a way, it kind of supports the message. The springtime, the birds, the tweeting, new life. It just feels completely appropriate and fitting. And I don't know if you could sense this or feel this as you were listening, because I know it was slow, it was a little bit longer, but the vibe, when I was channeling this message, the vibe was incredible. I mean, I wanted to blast off into the stratosphere. It was just incredible with this excitement and this optimism and this just radiance. The feeling was so expansive, but also grounded, not like a, I know I just said go up into the stratosphere, but I really mean that it's landed in the planet, but so expansive and so good. So I just want to make a couple of notes about it. You're more than welcome to re-listen to that message as many times as you want or need, but a couple of things that I'd like to say about it. First thing to note is if you don't get the positivity of it, or um, the sense that anything good is happening, it was noted that it may be where you're directing your attention. And I think that's important. So if you've been in a place where you've been living and existing from this place that everything that is happening is so bad, is so wrong, is um, shouldn't be happening, no good, hopeless, and that it just overall is so negative, and you don't see anything else, then the message from the records was turn your attention, open it, expand that vision, because that's not all there is. Yes, there is that because of all the things that are happening. Yes, we look in the news. Yes, we are aware. And these things are happening because people are waking up. People are becoming aware. People are becoming outraged and demanding change. Things are changing. And that's so wonderful for us because the way things have been has not served us. It has not served us. It has kept us in the dark. So the transition feels really terrible. It feels so uncomfortable. It feels dark, or it can if that's all that's focused on. And so I think the message from the records is if that's all that you can see, that isn't all that there is. It's kind of like a forest for the trees kind of feeling, like you can't see the forest for the trees. That the focus is so narrow and just on the tree that you're not seeing the forest. But in this case, I'd even say it's like looking at a house plant and missing the planet. You can't see the planet for the plant. It's that big. It feels that big. It's huge. The feeling that I get is that it's huge. And my guess is that many of you also feel that this is something that spans the globe. Maybe we're only looking at local issues or personal issues, but this shift is so big and planetary. And I love how, what was it? It was said, the planet, the people, and the person. I just love that. I'm gonna remember that. The planet, the people, the person. If you are struggling with being in that place where you you don't get how this is good, you don't see how this is bigger picture or positive, or if you struggle with that sometimes, my recommendation is not to try and find it and try to seek it and take the actions. I always open up first. So my recommendation is making the statement, just expressing it out loud, not in your head. And I always like to do and ask out loud because then it It goes through the physical, through your diaphragm and through the vocal cords, and then up and out through vibration from your own action and movement, expressed into vibration and sound into the world. So I like to say it out loud. And it also makes a distinction between what you're truly saying and declaring versus what's just running amok in your head. Like there's so much going on up there. It's just like another one of those things scampering around. It's too crowded, it's too busy. So saying it aloud differentiates it. Okay. So I would recommend saying, I am willing to see the bigger picture. And you don't have to do anything. It's not so much about the action. It's about setting the intention that you are opening up to see the bigger picture. And then the things will come your way and you'll be able to receive it. Like you'll get a message from somebody, or you'll read something or see something, hear something, whereas before you would have been deaf and blind to it. When you express this, you're actually going to receive it. It's going to be available to you. And it's not anything new. It was always there before. It's just that perhaps your focus was so narrow and so closed off, it's as if it didn't exist. So you're opening it up with the statement, I am willing to see the bigger picture. You may also want to say, I am willing to see what good is coming of all of this. I am willing to see what good is coming from all of this. I know that me as a human in my life always has the challenges and the struggles and the good days, the hard days, the good moments, the challenging moments, but that message just, I already have a lot of trust, but it really amplified it to a whole different level. The other thing I wanted to note about this message was when it was said that you're a part of it, that you're a part of it. Many times we look and see what's happening on the outside and we think it's just out there, it's them. But the thing is, all of this is happening and it's so big and so transformational at such a planetary level. You exist here on the planet, which means that you are part of this, whether you acknowledge it or not, realize it or not, are actively, consciously doing things from that awareness and acknowledgement or not. You're here, you're living during this time. And so you are part of it. So everything that you are thinking, everything that you are feeling, everything that you're doing, it's all, you're a part of this. You're a part of this shift and this transition and this big picture. You're helping to create this. And how empowering is that to know, yeah, I'm doing this work, this good work, just from me living my day-to-day life, that I don't have to be on front lines, so to speak, but just my existence and being here is me being a part of this, simply because I exist here and now during this extraordinary time. So good. Okay, wonderful beings. I love sharing the planet and this etheric space with you. And thank you for listening today. I cannot wait to connect with you again on another episode. Be well. Remember that spirit guides but never decides. How will you choose this hour, this day, this week at the altar of your life? Thank you so much for listening. If you feel called, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it. Also, connect with me and discover more on Instagram at Amaryllis_Fernandez. Until next time.